In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to practice your weight shift. I think this is so important to be able to make the swing look a lot more smooth and to produce a lot more power without having to physically swing it much faster. So if you know how to practice this, then it'll be easier to implement, and I think it'll make better use of what you do if you're trying to work on this. So this will kind of be like a follow along. So the next time you practice, you can turn this on and watch, but I'll just progressively show you how to start with some drills and slowly kind of implement or change things up to a full swing and apply the same feelings so that you can apply this to your shots, or maybe even do some small shots so that you know for sure that you're actually doing it correctly. Okay, so to practice weight shift, I first usually get some players to use or do some drills to get a feel for the right sequence and things like that, awareness of what they have to do. So I have this board on the ground that kind of tilts kind of left and right as you shift your weight. So this is something that just gives you a lot of feedback, which is really important in your practice, just to ensure that you're doing things correctly. If you want to know more about this board, I'll leave a link in the description box for you to view it, and also a link for you to purchase one if you'd like. Having this versus not having it can make a big difference. It usually gets people to feel things a lot more than without it. So when you're standing on it, you can kind of see it's kind of tilting left and right. And you can do this first drill without a club. So I usually get people to kind of just grab your shoulders like this, cross your arms. You want to start on leaning it a little bit to the left side or your lead side. First thing I kind of explain actually is, you see how I can make the board tilt left and right without like shifting my whole body left and right. Okay, and that means that when I step, I'm actually just being able to shift pressure versus kind of swaying or sliding things, sliding my body. So we want to do it to where we don't slide, but we still shift pressure, okay? With your hand on your shoulder on the left side, what you want to do is you always have to start with a slight shift to the trail side first. So you're going to make the board tilt to the right before you turn. Okay, so the first mistake I see is that people like turn and shift at the same time, and that's wrong. So you want to always, even the backswing and downswing, you always do the tilting or the movement of the pressure first before you start your turn. You don't want to like turn and then move your pressure. You don't want to turn and move the pressure at the same time. You have to move the board first before you turn in the backswing, and then you move the board to the left first before you turn into the downswing. So right away, I get people to understand that the general sequence is a shift, turn, okay? It follows that order. You're gonna do this like a couple times or until you kind of get the sequence down. But it's a shift to the right, turn, shift to the left, turn. Again, you don't shift and turn at the same time, okay? Or what's even worse is if you turn, shift, that's impossible, okay? That's really bad, all right? So again, shift, turn. Okay, I get people to follow that to start. So you can do that a couple times to get the sequence down. Shift, turn. So once you get that down and you feel comfortable, then I kind of progress to hands down. So hands together. Now you're getting closer to what it feel like to grip a club, right? So you do this. Now what I see, again, is people move their arms and they shift. Okay, so remember, you don't want to move anything until after you've shifted the board. Okay, so you're shifting to the right, and you turn. Shift to the left, and you turn. Okay, in the downswing, again, I see people do this. They move their arms and then they shift. Okay. So don't move anything until after you've shifted, right? I can't say that enough. I know I've repeated it like 20 times already, but shift, turn, shift. See how I'm like, my arm is still here, and I turn, okay? Shift, turn. So once you can get a handle of doing the sequence with your arms out, then you just grab your club. Again, still no ball. So when you grab your club, Again, follow the same sequence. Don't think about like position of the backswing yet. You're only focusing on applying this sequence of weight shift only, okay? So you're starting a little on the left side, you shift, turn, shift, turn, shift, turn, shift, turn. One more time, shift, turn, shift, turn. Okay, so that's a great way to kind of warm up even without hitting balls yet to get the right feel. And then with the board, we can actually add a ball to it now. Again, you can hit balls while standing on the board, and I know you'll probably be a little bit elevated, okay? But the point is you don't have to hit like perfect golf shots with this, okay? The point is just having the ball there might change what you feel or what you do, right? It just makes it a little bit more and more realistic as we go along. So with the ball on the ground and you're in your setup position with the club, remember when you're standing on the board, your starting point is to lean it onto the lead side, just a little bit. Okay, you don't have to put like 100% of your weight on there or anything, just enough to make the board tilt left. So you can do this very slow and take your time when you're doing it, but remember you're shifting the board to the right. See, I didn't move my club yet, I didn't move my upper body yet. So you're starting on the left, you tilt it to the right, you turn, you tilt it to the left, then you turn. Okay, you see how slowly I did that. Not fast at all yet, right? You don't want to go fast until you get really confident with it. So again, starting on the left side, tilt the board right, turn, left, turn. And then eventually, you can do that as many times as you'd like until you get a handle of it. But once you do feel like you get a handle of it, you can do it a little bit faster. You don't have to go full out 100%, okay? Maybe just a little bit faster than what you're practicing, okay? So, shift, turn, shift, turn. The mistake a lot of people make is when they're on this board and they start to see a ball on the ground, they're too much in a rush to hit the ball. You'll notice that you have to take your time. You have to make sure, remember the rule is you cannot turn until after you've shifted weight. For the most part, everybody does the backswing correct. Okay, it's coming down where people make all the mistakes. So the mistake I see is that they go back, they turn, and then they kind of move their arm and their weight at the same time. You can kind of see I'm moving my arm and my weight. Okay, or what happens is that they go back perfect, and then they swing their arm, and then after they hit it, the board moves. Okay, which is also incorrect. It means that you swung down with your weight still on your right foot. So remember, you have to make sure that that board gets to the left first. So that means you have to almost feel like you're delaying or a lot longer than you think. That's the mistake that people get aware of. So the next progression after this focuses on the timing at which you move your weight, okay? But again, I'll just demonstrate this one more time. I might show it in slow motion so you can see perhaps when I'm shifting my weight. But this swing right here, when I do this, okay, you're gonna go shift, turn, turn. And the weight shift at this point, I explained, happens much earlier than you think. You don't want to actually get to the very top and set and then try to move everything left. Okay, remember, you have to be in constant motion for it to be smooth. Okay, otherwise you're just gonna, it's actually quite tough if I get everything on this side and I have to forcibly try to move everything to my lead side. Okay, so make sure you go as slow as possible until you have to first get this sequence correct, no matter how slow you go. Okay, remember, shift, then turn, then shift, then turn. All right, so we'll go on to the next progression. So now the final stage of the progression, I'm just starting with my feet together now. The alignment sticks or the clubs are kind of just outside the border of my feet. This is like kind of a step drill. I also kind of went over this a little bit in a previous video. This is great at the end of the progression, just before you kind of apply this to a full swing. You don't have to do this with a ball yet, okay? I usually get people to do this without a ball, but they still have the club in their hand now. But the starting point is to actually step, okay? Then you turn, then you step, then you turn. Okay, so this drill is more specific about the timing of your weight shift. Whereas with the board on the ground, You're just getting feedback as to if you're like how much you're moving your weight or if you are moving your weight in the right order. Now the struggle is not so much the backswing. Everyone gets the backswing. So now in the downswing, I see people swinging and stepping, okay? Or they step and they swing, but they don't actually move their pressure when they're stepping. Those are the two big mistakes that I make, or that people make. What you want to do first is when you step and move the pressure a little bit, then you turn. You can see that when I'm stepping on this opposite side, you can see that I'm still doing my backswing when I'm doing it. That's what I try to teach people when they do this progression here. So when you go to the step and you turn, most people go to the very top and then they step, but that's too late. Okay, so again, it's really important for you to understand that the weight shift happens a lot earlier than you think. When you step to the lead side and you're still turning, right, you can see that I'm actually moving my body in like opposite directions again. So I'm turning to the right, but my weight and my step is towards the target, it's to the left. So that's what people don't get when they do this, okay? So step, you turn, and you kind of see that motion here, okay? And when I'm stepping, I have to feel that pressure moving into that lead foot before I swing the opposite way, okay? The proper way is gonna look like this. So you're gonna step, turn, turn. Okay, 100% of my weight's on the left side in the follow through. Again, do this a couple times, do it really slowly. You go step, turn, step, and you can see I'm still kind of about 70% of the way back, and then I'm stepping and I'm turning, okay? So again, we'll do it properly one more time. And you can maybe replay this in slow motion just so you can have a better sense, but you can watch this as many times as you'd like. But I'm stepping, turning, stepping, turning, okay? So you can really see that. Step, turn, turn. Okay, so again, once you have a handle of it, then the hardest end of the progression is with the ball there, right? It tends to change whenever the ball's there. So with the ball on the ground now, you can apply it, same thing, step, turn, turn. Okay, one more time, step, turn, turn. Okay, you're gonna really have to feel like you're taking your time trying to hit the ball. Most people are too much in a rush, so you gotta feel the weight shifting first before you start to turn. Remember, that's the key here. Okay, so you went through all the progressions, all the drills, so now nothing, no aids, right? So now you're going to go into a normal standing position over the ball, and now when you shift the weight, you're not stepping anymore, so you gotta really feel that weight moving between your feet, okay? So when I'm taking my backswing, again, I'm shifting that little bit of weight to the right foot first, and then I'm taking it back, then I'm shifting my weight to the left, and then I'm swinging, okay? So again, if you've done everything correct, I'll do it really slowly, but shift, turn, turn. Now, the faster that you swing, obviously that sequence happens a little bit faster, okay? So if you're practicing it really slow and you got a handle of it, try to practice the same sequence, but at your normal speed. So the timing of this weight shift will be different when you're swinging it harder, okay? So when you're swinging it harder, maybe after I hit this, you can kind of see it in slow motion. But you'll be able to see after I hit that shot, or when I replay it in slow motion, you can kind of see that that same sequence is there. I have this little bit of shift off the ball, I turn, and then that shift back to the left, and then I turn. Hopefully, if you go through this progression, you can start with getting a general sense of it, and it progressively gets more and more specific and more realistic.